welcome back to my home. Thanks for coming by. My name is Lynn. I'm glad you're here. So what's happening today in the Wilson household? Well, it's been a crazy busy couple of days since we've last chatted. And today was one of those days you ever have that headache? It's not a headache, but it's a head ache where it's just kind of that lingering something, and you know Tylenol's not going to do it. So you're going to see me later in the video where I have a wrap around my neck and it looks funny like a big giant necklace. But we call it the heat wrap. We call it the blue wrap because it was originally blue, and you'll see some of that sticking out. And then my sister made me a cover for it because it was starting to wear. I bought that thing in Boscov's probably 20 years ago. And you heat it in the microwave, and boy, it just wraps around your neck, and it's a bit heavy. It's got some kind of a, not a bean, but something in it where it weighs and it kind of pulls a little bit, but it feels that good pull, like it's almost a massage. Oh, just what I needed. And it was one of those days where I knew I needed to get dinner going, and I had babysat our grandson. And after that, we had just a window of time, and my youngest son, needed to go to bowling. He's on a summer bowling league, and we needed to get him there. So I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? You ever have those days where it's like, you know, you have food in the house, you've done your shopping, you've got a stockpile, a pantry full of bits and pieces, bits and bobs, and you're just kind of like, what in the world am I going to make? Do you ever have those days? Well, it was one of those moments where I'm like, I don't have a clue what I want to make. And then I had to think about it. And when my grandson was here, I was like, I need to take stuff out to thaw if I'm going to do it. And I remembered I had bought some smoked sausage. And so I pulled 3 of those out from the freezer. I had wrapped them individually. We got them at Stop and Shop. It was $10 for the box. I want to say I probably got about a dozen in the box, and they're good. They're really good. So I put them in bags of 3. And so you're going to see me making something out of pretty much nothing. I guess that's what it comes down to. So here's the scoop. If you're in a situation, a bind, and you're like, what am I going to make? I just don't know. Find bits and pieces that you have. It doesn't have to be a first-class world championship dinner. It's got to be food on the table to fill your belly, fill your family's belly, to get you through the day. Tomorrow's another day. Maybe tomorrow you'll make some gourmet meal like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or a bowl of cereal. But you know, some days it's just those kind of days where you just don't feel like, you just don't have it in you. And that day with babysitting my grandson, I'd come off a long 5 straight days of work, didn't really have a breather, and then babysat and knew that night we were going out. So it was kind of like, I gotta find something. So I rummaged through the refrigerator and to see what I had. I looked in my pantry, and I'm gonna show you all this. And I looked in my freezer, and that's when I saw the smoked sausages. And then I had opened a box of Hamburger Helper like 2 weeks ago, and I had no chopped meat. And that was the same situation. I was like, I don't have any ground beef, chopped meat, hamburger meat, mince meat, whatever you might call it. And I'm like, what can I do? Like, there's got to be something. I've got to use this up because I've already opened it, and I don't want it sitting. I put it in a Ziploc bag. But I thought, oh, you know what? I have that smoked sausage. I could take the casing off of it. The casing is a little tough, so if I had cooked them in the crock pot, they would have been soft enough. But I knew I needed to do a quick fry, and the casing would have been a little hard. So I just cut it down, and again, you're gonna see all this at the end of the video. I split it down the middle, took the casing off, diced it up, threw it in the frying pan, my electric frying pan. Remember I said that is probably my #1 favorite appliance in the kitchen. So you're gonna see me cooking a 1-dish meal in the frying pan. So I thought, oh, I can just fry them up, make the Hamburger Helper in there. And I thought, you know what, I have some peas in a can. I won't need all of them. I'll probably use half the can, and then the other half I can freeze or, you know, make a tuna casserole out of it and use the peas for that. And I thought I could do that. Like, oh, I have a little bit of carrots left. Let's throw them in there and use them up. And Yeah, so, and then I thought, well, you need something else. Like, I don't know, it's one of those meals where you feel like you need a roll. We were out of bread. I didn't have any bread. I didn't have any rolls. I didn't feel like doing crackers. I was like, nah, I didn't. And I said, you know what? I haven't made baking powder biscuits in forever. I don't even know the last time I made them. Have you ever had them? The first time I heard of them was on the Waltons. Anybody else watch the Waltons? And John Boy was at somebody's house and they were making baking powder biscuits with honey on top. And I thought, oh, that sounds delicious. And I had to look up the recipe, and sure enough, there's a recipe for baking powder biscuits. So if you need a quick biscuit, whether you want to put honey on them, butter and jam, just plain butter, or use them for dipping up like gravy or some ooey gooey sauce that you might have with something, these biscuits are delicious. They make about, I want to say 8 or 9 big rounds, and you're going to see that. And if you put them in an airtight container, they'll last you 3 or 4 days, or they freeze perfectly fine as well. They're delicious. They've got a little bit of a tang to them because there's 4 teaspoons of baking powder in them, but they're delicious. So I made those. I made homemade, semi-homemade hamburger helper. I used what I could find, and that's what I did. A simple meal. Will it win an award? No. But I'll tell you one thing, my family loved it, and I loved it, and it gave us a meal, and it used up what I have. And I'm trying not to buy a lot of food right now. There's so much in my pantry stockpile that is still from 2020 that I need to use up. And I'm really trying to be diligent about using that up. A lot of that, not saying I'm a big deal about expiration dates. I'm not saying that. But some of that expired last year. Some of it expires this year. So I want to use it up, and so I can restock things that will now last me another 3 or 4 years. And we're just not, we don't eat as much as we used to. We don't need as much as we used to. So I don't need as big of a stockpile. What are you going to get out of this video tonight? One, you're going to see me use the electric frying pan, and some of you said, oh, can you cook in that for us? Some of you have asked for cooking videos. So here's a cooking video. And I'm using up stuff that's left over in the freezer, pantry, refrigerator. And also, I'm using semi-homemade things. Like, okay, I have a box of Hamburger Helper, well, I added garlic paste to it to kind of doctor it up. I did smoked sausage instead of chopped meat or ground beef. I added peas and carrots to it. Instead of doing a side salad or a side vegetable, I thought, let me throw that in there and just mix it all together in one pot. I also did baking powder biscuits. It's a simple, easy biscuit made with Crisco, shortening, flour, baking powder, salt, milk. That's about it. They're delicious. It's like the kind of biscuit anybody can make. So there you go, a simple meal for a simple evening when maybe you have a headache or you just have a stressful day and you know what am I gonna do? Throw something together, look and see what you have, be creative, and you never know what you're gonna find in your pantry. So right now, I'm gonna jump off this video, but I do wanna show you 2 books that a viewer has given me. Emily Barnes, one of my favorite authors, Fill My Cup, Lord, and also Gratitude, a book of inspirational thoughts and quotes by Susan Branch. So thank you, Lee, for my 2 books. I am enjoying those. I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much. And that's what I have for you. So the rest of this video will just be me in my kitchen. It's messy. I got the wrap around my neck. No frills. This is reality TV here. This is my real life. This is not a show. It's not staged. It is what it is. If you see dirty dishes in the sink, it's because we dirty our dishes when we eat. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and we'll catch you on Friday for the next video for the summer series.